they subscribe to every type of like kink that they can find. You know what I mean? And so a lot of them they don't identify as gay because they identify kinks.
Guys, welcome back to another episode. It's been a while. Quite a few things have happened. So today we wanted to talk about politics and what's going on around the world at the moment because it's pretty crazy. It's quite a lot going on. So Charlie Kirk is dead. We're not gonna harp on about that. I mean, yeah, that was pretty intense. That little news cycle right there took off like wildfire, and it
Do you
was
think he's really dead? There's conspiracies saying that if so I saw a video of a gun guy. I don't know what to call a gun enthusiast, right?
Mhm.
And he did a demonstration of he got like an animal neck, like, that would be the size of what Charlie Kirk's neck should be, right?
Mhm.
And so he got this and he went to whatever the distance was and used the same type of gun that was said to be used in this situation. And he shot the neck. It exploded. Basically, the message is dude shouldn't have had a head. You know what I mean? If that gun had shot him even
Mhm.
at that distance, he like should not. It shouldn't have just been like I guess blood squirt. I didn't watch the video, but like I've heard
So
commentaries like people saw something come from underneath his shirt. There was also a video of people jumping over the thing and they grabbed something off the body and then ran. I actually saw that. Um, but anyway, there's interesting stories. But Charlie Kirk is dead, regardless of how you feel about that.
I was gonna say because obviously I saw the video and I saw the impact and I saw how it looked real to me. I mean, you could argue that that's the whole point with psyops, but it looked the way his limbs. It was the loss of life was instant. I don't think you could fake that. There were a few weird things around it. You've heard the theory about the tunnel being next to the stage, right? And then that's been
No,
covered up.
I didn't hear anything about the tunnel.
So apparently there was a tunnel next to the stage, and that was all bricked up as within a day or two, or two of him being dead. So there's
Hmm,
lots of multiple. There's like multiple rabbit holes. I feel like
interesting.
to me, he's dead.
I mean, I think he's dead. I don't know if he died in the way they're saying. And there's like now they're saying like the guy who supposedly shot him, the 22-year-old boy, said he never confessed. Do you saw the text messages between
Yeah,
that just I think everybody was
yeah,
like, regardless of how you felt about it, most people were like, That's not how a 22-year-old
yeah,
texts.
absolutely.
I left the weapon with all my fingerprints in the
Yeah,
woods next to, oh no, there's a cop
yeah,
car
yeah.
vehicle. I was just like,
The reason I think he's dead is because I do believe he was this close to blowing the lid on his own wife and finding things out through his pursuit of releasing the Epstein files. I feel like she's definitely linked to that, and I think he was just on the verge of uncovering a whole lot about her being a plant, and I think that's why he had to go. And I think
well, this is
Trump, that's why Trump has been so weird about it. Like he's been so nonchalant. He's been like he couldn't care less. He's
Trump
just
couldn't care
relieved.
less,
He's
period.
relieved that
Yeah. No,
it
he
was
couldn't care
Charlie.
less, period. I do think there is a bigger story behind like his death and the reasons why he's dead. Um whether it's the Epstein files, whether he found out, his wife was actually a plant, or I
Israel.
mean, there's so many layers to his stuff. And I mean, it's interesting because the wife to me is did you see her video at the memorial service?
Yeah, I did.
I was just like, is she actually trying to force a tear? Because I was just like, but then I was just like, it was so funny to watch the reactions of like European Americans and how a lot of them, the supporters, they don't see what we see. they were seriously like, oh, the poor widow. It's just like
Wow.
she was constipated. I've never seen, I've never seen a display like this. From the holding of his hands on social media, and like, I feel like I'm in a really terrible dystopian movie. You know
Mm.
what I mean? Even while I'm scrolling, everything just feels so,
Orchestrated.
yeah.
You know, I was beginning to listen to Candace Owens and her ramblings because I was realizing that she's actually a darn good journalist, right? She's really
For her,
doing the
she's not a journalist.
doing the digging for her friend. And then and this is where she lost all credibility for me. Well, she already had because of things she said in the past, but she was recouping some respectability until she said that Erica Kirk's performance was so touching. She didn't say performance, but the fact that she couldn't see it, you're saying people in the cult can't seem to see it. And now I realize Candace doesn't see it either. She thinks that that was genuine. That's really disturbing to me.
I don't know what's real about Candace Owens. I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't tell anything that I feel is genuine about Candace Owens, which is why I hate when especially black people give her a platform when she's like on these points where we want the other side, because that's to me the only reason any
Yeah.
black person would have her on their show is like she made a point that we as black people want the other side to understand, and we think she's a gateway to that. That's the only reason I can see people having her on their platforms. And I can't stand that we are that desperate for their attention. And I think that she, again, she had a relationship with this man. She knows she is close enough to know there's bullshit like mixed in, because she has been a part of it. She's been a part of like seeing some of the behind the scenes bullshits.
Yeah.
And I think in reality, whether she was close to Charlie Kirk or not, she can see herself. I think a lot of them see themselves in what happened to him. And if he was rising up some sort of ranks within their cult, and this happened to them, where does that put them in respects to like a firing range? And I think that what Candace is good at is making noise to, like, if people are watching her a lot and paying attention and something does happen to her from all her conversation, that's going to make them look more guilty. That's going to give more validity to what she's saying. So she's almost protecting herself by being this voice in the way that she's doing. I think she's very smart in that. She's like, her whole career has been her grifting on what she can get from people by presenting herself in a certain way. So I mean, I think that's part of it. I think she feels a little danger for herself
Okay.
in what's going on and what she knows happens behind the scenes.
Her husband isn't going to help her, is he? I mean, what use is he going to be?
I don't think he's the use. I just think it keeps people watching her. And so like the more people who have eyes on her and the more people who are
That's
like,
what I'm saying. Yeah, her husband, because her husband wouldn't
oh,
care.
her husband,
So that's
that little
why.
twink, he's probably waiting for her. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure she pounds that out all the time, but I'm just like, that's he
Pounds that out. What does that mean?
like,
Oh no, no, you didn't.
I mean, I'm sure she's the dominant in this relationship.
I don't
But
want to think about it. I don't want to think about it.
but do
Like,
you think her and Charlie, do you think Charlie was her because she's kind of like got a twink at home? Like, do you think Charlie was her manly man? Like the one who was ill hand, like, cuz
yeah,
he's a big
definitely.
guy too. He's like 6'5". He was like 6'5".
I Here's what I think happened. I think maybe they messed around in the beginning, when he first employed her, like took her on, and then I don't know, for whatever reasons, he like she knew he would never be like with her like that. And then all of a sudden, Erica comes in. And 6 months later, Erica has her old job. and then they're getting married. And then, did you see the text that Candace sent to him saying that? So, Charlie was saying to her that, oh, you guys look great together. I can really see it that he's meant to be with you, blah blah blah. And she was like, yeah, he's a good man. He believes in God, and he's like political, and he's proud to stand by me. I don't know. It just sounded like she was just describing
You think that
Charlie.
was a dig?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because she was describing all the things about this guy that she liked about Charlie, but she
Hmm.
ended it with the only difference is he's actually willing to be out with me in public. I don't know. I don't know what little micro subtexts are in there, but it definitely feels like that was a dick, you know,
Mm.
because there was no
I
response.
think, I mean, it definitely, I think that for Candace, it could definitely be a dig. I think that she also probably suffers from, like, she's probably suffered from, like, feeling like she was never
Oh
chosen,
yeah.
for most of, her life. She's not a, universally attractive woman, right?
Mhm.
She doesn't like being black. You know what I mean? Like, so she doesn't like being black, and she's a very, like, black featured woman, like her features are very, African type features. So I think, like, in the circles that she's been in, she hasn't been chosen often, or
Mm.
she has been fetishized in certain ways. And I think maybe anybody obviously willing to stand by her, even if she's a beard, you know feels better than not, in her traditional ideas.
The way she's so angry all the time, like I didn't know this about her. I didn't know that what happened to her in high school. She got bullied by some white guys and threatened and stuff, and she had to like testify against them. And one of them was like the mayor's son or something. They created a beast. They created something that I mean, this is what we have now. The Candace Owens we have now. That was her origin story, you know.
Mhm.
Um, and I think I'm trying to make sense of how if he is a beard, how can she be okay with that? Because she hates gayness and she hates queerness, right?
All do. They all do. I mean, why does Grindr, like, crash every Republican, like, freaking meeting in some, like, they all have beards in some way. They all have beards. And for Candace, first of all, like, there's no qualms about them pretending to not be gay, right? Like that, like they all do it, but they
So
all also know that they're following each other's secrets down the hallways, like they're all in the
are
same
you saying that
hotels. They're all
are you saying
like,
that to be in that cult, it's a kind of an unwritten rule that most of the men are gay?
exactly. It
Just
feels like they're
pick your
they're
beard.
gay by,
Right.
whatever. I mean, when you think about, like, all of the with, like, I mean, a lot, and this has nothing to do with gay or bi, but they subscribe to every type of, like, kink that they can find, you know what I mean? And so a lot of them, they don't identify as gay because they identify kinks, they identify, like,
Interesting.
this kind of behaviors that they think they have the right to just do whatever they want to do. And that's, you know protecting pedophiles to sex trafficking, like all of it. Like, why would they stop at just, you know one or two things when they can do it all?
You have no faith in humanity, do you?
No. Like, no, I don't.
Yeah.
I'm just like, they're screaming for the Epstein files for what? They just want to see whose name. What are they going to do with those names? What are they going to do? Because these are the same people who will stand in Congress and talk about, like, how great Thomas Jefferson was,
Mm.
and how, the founding fathers, and this is on both sides of the aisle. They use, like, these quotes from different, they're quoting and upholding sex traffickers, and you know what I mean, pedophiles, and like, human trafficking, all of these things. These are the founding fathers.
That's true.
What's changed?
That's true. Yeah. They just want someone else to scapegoat. That's why they're going
I mean,
on.
but that's what they've been doing.
Well, scapegoating who?
Immigrants, black people,
No, but
like,
I'm talking about with that specifically. They need some names to blame apart from Trump.
but what are they going to do with those names?
But go after them.
To do what and do what?
Get them in jail. That's what they
We got
want.
a 34 count felon who has been pardoning out everybody doing anything. What are they going to do? These will be federal charges, right? What are they going to do? Nothing.
I think Trump would go after anyone else on that list because it would mean it he would be seen to be doing something.
Trump did something. Trump. There's probably videos of like him doing pedo stuff or whatever. For we know he's guilty. nobody, nobody fights this hard to and not be guilty. You know, like nobody. So we already know that. We like what are we talking about? The man was impeached twice during his first term, right? Since then, he's been sued multiple times. You know, he has a 34 count felony. He's going after the lawyers who prosecuted him. You know, like there is no shame and nobody is doing anything.
He's
Nobody's doing
against
anything.
he's
They're all
against it in
just
the worst
like
possible way.
Epstein files.
Mm.
There's so many things. They just want the names so they can do this in Congress and have lots of conversations and nothing. And then eventually they'll do all of that for what? So what's that list gonna tell us that we don't already know?
I was going to say something. But yeah, he's bad with money. America's shut down, right? The government's shut down. Like, because I know he was bad with money because he bankrupted himself like a few
But
times.
they're blaming the Democrat. Did you see the website? They put radical left Democrats have caused the government to shut down. That's what they wrote on the website. It's fucking comedy. This is our reality. Like, it can't be. We are in a simulation. So, we are in a movie. We're like AI, and we don't know we're AI. And this must be, because, like, this
You
is
know what
the
makes it weirder?
movie
Okay, you know about the Romanian stuff, right?
with Erica.
Yeah,
That, I mean, yeah, that she went there at 17 years old and babies start disappearing.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think that's just a coincidence?
No.
Do you think she's guilty of those crimes?
Yes.
Good, because it's so obvious. And the way she's so fake on camera, that just confirms it to me even more. Because these
It's
people don't really have souls. They don't
no,
function.
they don't. But you know what? The most disturbing thing is she's this character and they're all watching and eating it up and we're supposed to believe any of like this is a mourning wife or whatever. She told her child that Papa went with Jesus to afford her blueberries. That's why he can't come to dinner because of the blueberry budget. She blamed her dad's disappearance on her eating too many blueberries. What? And like she said that out loud.
Do you think Trump molested her or groomed her?
Probably. There's
But
probably like humiliation rituals that poor woman went through as a little girl.
because the way do you not find that when she was hugging him on stage at that convention,
When he bit his lip.
yeah, yeah. But apart from that moment, I'm not reading into that. But the way he was so like awkward with her and kind of like standoffish a bit, like it was like there, trying to get through it. There was no emotion from him, as in he didn't seem to care to
What
embrace her.
emotion? What emotion was from her? What emotion was from like what emotion?
I'm
You
just saying, like,
actually
if he was
expect
really a father figure to her, even one who groomed her, I just feel like he would have been a bit more like nurturing in that moment, but he wasn't.
oh, because groomers do that.
Well, someone like him would forget themselves when hugging a previous
But
victim.
see, now she's different. She's tainted and used.
Oh, so he's not really that. You think that's why?
I think that would be part of it because, like, that's why they get them young and they groom them and they put them in the positions they put them in to carry out their plans or whatever. But they don't. They don't want them anymore because they're not new.
This is so grim. Yeah, I just know that Charlie Kirk was very much. I feel like
He
he
almost you were kind of almost convinced that he may have been misunderstood.
relax. I'm just saying. I feel like he genuinely
I love
believed.
when you
No,
when I relax.
I
Like,
think he genuinely believed in what he was talking about. He wasn't just like a plant. He really had been indoctrinated to believe what he was saying. I really think that. Whereas with her and people like Trump and all these other people around him, they knew it was all an act. And I think that's why, like, I know he was really pro-life for real. I'm not saying I agree with his stance, but I know he was pro-life to the point that he would have been upset about the children going missing. And I think that the Israel thing and all of that was closing in on her.
mm.
So I think she was in the room when they were deciding to.
Oh, she probably was part of the plan.
She probably blew the whistle, like, okay, he knows
Yeah.
this. Like,
I mean, I don't think that she is innocent at all in this, in other things that they have helped she's helped orchestrate in the past. Yeah, she was probably groomed. Um, she was probably tortured. She was probably done terrible things too, between Trump and Epstein and all of those other people in those circles to get her to this point. But it's just like it's hard to it's hard because like you see the possibility or the potential that she could be a victim, right? But at the same time, she's also just evil.
and I
You
don't
know?
think that video I sent you of her talking about her tomboy years and how she liked being mistaken for a boy. To me, yeah, I know that that's not that's not what a hetero tomboy would experience. They wouldn't necessarily. I mean, you could argue it's subjective, but I just feel like basically what I'm saying is yes, he was a beard to her. That's what I feel. I feel like, and I feel like maybe the reason she went tomboyish could be that someone close did stuff with her when she was very young.
No, I was going to say some of that could be related to her being abused as a young child.
Yeah,
Because a lot of times girls who are in domestic violence, or SA situations when they're young
they
and they
tend to
have
go
boys
full
around
tomboy.
them,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
like they start
Okay.
identifying with that
Yeah,
power structure, and
definitely,
feeling male will make you feel stronger.
definitely, and that's what I see with her in that video.
So
So
you
yeah,
think she's a lesbian?
I think she's a deeply suppressed queer person. I don't know in what capacity, but I think yeah, probably a lesbian. She
So
gives
then, like, this is maybe they swapped this and Candace and Erica, and the two. Maybe they were all into. Maybe they were swingers.
she gives Ghislaine Maxwell, and Ghislaine was definitely into little girls. So why else would Ghislaine volunteer to do what she did, and why else would she volunteer to do what she did?
I was I have to find this and find it, but like Ghislaine Maxwell's father, do you know like her story
Yeah,
with like them writing books for like most educational books and everything? I I feel like that deep connection in childhood education and childhood development from her father to, you know what I mean? That the whole family is likely sick, you know what I mean? And like that sickness has been allowed to infiltrate into education for children for decades and decades in some way. And when I when I saw that, I just like even now talking about it a really visceral reaction to understand how influential these sick individuals have
yeah,
been in
yeah.
our society, in our
Right,
culture,
right.
and shaped us in some
Yeah.
way.
It's not fair. It's completely not fair. Um, and this is where it gets weird and interesting. You've probably heard about the book from the 1800s about Baron Trump character.
I did.
Yeah. What do you make of that?
I don't remember the whole thing, but I think it was like he was going to be the Antichrist, right?
So I'll give you the gist. So this guy
Okay.
called Baron Trump, right, goes like he travels in time or something, and he has a consigliere, an advisor who is called Don Trump, and Don Trump becomes the president in the book. Um, and then that's pretty much. Obviously, there's a lot more to it, but that's what I remember right now. And what I find interesting about that is that after about Tesla, after he
Yeah.
died, you know what happened, right?
How he died, I don't know how Tesla died.
No, so
Oh, after he died.
minutes after he died, the FBI stormed his room, the hotel room where he was staying. He died alone and penniless, was very sad. Um, they grabbed all his like inventions and like his what do you call it, patents and whatever, all his documents on time travel, on light, on like all his stuff. They just took a lot of those boxes, and one of those boxes was bought by Donald Trump's uncle in real life, who went on to make the clocks that appear from that 1800 book about Trump's traveling in time. It's a really crazy thing, and it makes me wonder about. I feel like time travel is possible, and they've been keeping it from us. Why else would they care about a dead guy's crazy patents, right? And on top of that, the fact that his Donald Trump's uncle came in and swooped in and took that all the stuff about time travel, and like I said, he made watches that. Let me just bring it up because I'm trying to remember the name of the watches.
Yeah, try and look how much. Oh,
Ingersoll Lockwood, right? That's the name of the watches. I mean, what do you make of that? And it's all
man.
there. You can research it. Like it's not
No, I just kind of, I think I'm trying to wrap my head around it a little bit because
it's
I
crazy.
think that we have lost so much knowledge and understanding of our space and our time because our time is distorted. We're not on the right calendars. There's so many things that they have done to manipulate our ability to feel the vibrations that we need to feel
Mhm.
um, in order to really connect and ground. So it's scary to think like what they're here for. I think I remember something about this story, and somehow they were equating Baron Trump to like the Antichrist. He's going to end the world or something.
Maybe that is a thread in the stories. I don't know,
Okay.
but I'm gonna get my hands on these stories and start reading some, and see what we come up with. Could be interesting.
I think it is interesting. I've been reading a lot of books about like how basically Europeans have shaped our consciousness and how that has affected particularly us as African people, and it's affected us so negatively, and we've been forced to put ourselves in a rhythm that is unnatural to us. Um and that's just been to our detriment and to their benefit,
Yeah,
basically, because they've been able to define time for everyone. But I
which is
do think
crazy.
that right now, watching what's happening and seeing how these connectivities across the world are so similar in how they're trying to regain control. And it's crazy to me how loud and wild things are happening in the United States with the way, you know, the politics and the social aspects are so over the top. And I don't feel like it's as over the top here as it is there.
You mean
The theatrics.
well, because I think Melonia, whatever your president's name is, she's doing what everyone wants. All the parties want her to be doing. They're all in agreement on the immigration stance, and that's all that matters right now. So that feels like stability, I guess. Your biggest
I
problem
don't
is
think there's like what I'm saying is like we don't have the drama. We don't have like the soap opera. You know what I mean? Like in Europe, like I mean, like the Erica Kirk. There's no Erica Kirk. There's no like drama in that way. So we're all watching the United States all over the world. We're watching this drama like it's television, like it's a show because that's what it feels like. It doesn't feel like
and that's always been the case with America and American politics. That's always been the case.
no, like really,
Yeah, you
like
just
to
never
this
saw it.
extent.
Maybe you just never saw it. But
Maybe because I was in it. Because like I was away during Obama, and
how
then
could
like
you? How could you? How could you
well,
leave during
I
the
didn't
reign of a
leave
black
because
president?
of Obama. It's just like it was good life then. You can do what you want to do. You know what I mean? It wasn't like I'm not leaving because of Obama, but it was like I was just leaving because like the dollar was strong. It was it was good times. It felt
Traitor.
like the world was
Traitor.
open.
traitor, black card revoked.
So, but then there was Trump, and it was kind of unbelievable to see that happen. Um, and I know I didn't feel like I mean, unless you go back to like Bush and like 9/11 and the potential conspiracies around that. Did you hear about the snake eyes?
I
The
did.
whole thing related to
Yeah, yeah,
Charlie
yeah.
Kirkland and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. It's on my list to watch. Interesting.
Yeah.
Very
So
interesting.
I know, like that's what I'm saying.
Mhm.
There's none, like there's none of that here. And I don't feel like that has been historically normal in the United States. Like cities aren't being invaded by the government, like
Oh
military.
yeah, no, it's definitely the worst it's ever been. Yeah. I would say it's the worst it's ever been. Televised.
Yeah, but I guess you're right. Like Reagan years was probably pretty traumatic, like to watch when you think about it from abroad.
And then don't forget the Bill Clinton years. You guys have always had scandals. Like,
Yeah, but like sex scandals is like you get everybody has sex scandals. There's like Maloney broke up with her long-term boyfriend because he got caught telling his coworker he wished he had met her before he like got with Maloney. I mean, like sex scandals happen, it seems like always in every place.
hey,
Like I feel like sex scandals are like as almost as to one with politicians.
you know, even then, Britain hasn't really had that. Don't get me wrong. Like it's funny because we look back.
Maybe because the British just aren't sexy.
I remember John Major had a scandal once in the 90s. You know John Major?
Mm-mm.
You don't know John Major? Gray hair, glasses. He's kind of iconic. No,
I don't know. Let me go. Let me see. Maybe if I see his face, and I'll know.
I think Diana was the last big scandal we had.
Major with a G or a J?
Jay, how you gonna spell it with a G?
I don't know because people spell their names all kind of ways. This there. Oh,
It's changed a bit.
he had a sex scandal.
Yeah, when wait till you see the woman he cheated with, it's like, really?
Oh
But
gosh,
Edwina Curry. No,
Edwina Curry. This?
yeah, yeah. So
I
see,
mean, like, yeah, nobody a scandal between these two people. Like
right.
nobody, like, don't nobody care about a scandal between those two people at all.
It was big news over here. That's all. Um, but
Like
yeah,
you'd
I mean,
rather not know. Like, ew, they're having sex. I
I don't.
didn't need that information.
Honestly, having Keir Starmer as our prime minister has made all of us realize that the Tories weren't that bad. Like looking back at the 14 years, like it wasn't that bad. Okay, yes, they made mistakes, but their scandals were just like having parties during COVID or like, you know, bit of wife swapping. Really, they left the economy alone. They left our money alone. Life was good back then. We didn't really know how good we had it. Now Starmer's coming in. He's made cuts to everything. He's made like tax higher. He's doing all these things and like austerity, authoritarian style. And it hasn't even been a year. And he's already like his people want him gone already.
Look at what's Trump done in like 8 months.
I know.
I mean, it does not take a long time to like ruin like apparently hundreds of years of work
That's
that is
true.
taken
Yeah.
for a country to have. It can be done in like systematically in a few days. Because I mean, everything that has been happening has been so swiftly,
Yeah.
and people don't even know right now what's legal and what's not legal that he's done because everything keeps changing constantly.
But I heard that that was a strategy, like
Oh yeah, chaos is part of the
to
strategy.
flood everyone with all these executive orders so that there's no, like you just said, nobody knows which is what anymore.
Yeah.
And then you can come in and like manipulate the rest of that because nobody can be sure.
I feel like well, I feel like the United States, like the population should get together and sue the government. Like they should sue the executive branch, they should sue the judicial branch. There has to be like ways that the people can respond. But I was telling, and it was funny, I was having this side conversation with someone, and I said to them, I was like, I don't understand no one's trying to impeach any of the Supreme Court justices. And then one of my friends just forwarded me like AOC, actually put in articles of impeachment for two of them, and I was like, thank God and maybe it won't go anywhere, but they need to be doing stuff like this to try and counter what's happening in some way. And I feel like American people need to get together and sue like the government, because they're fucking nobody. Like, even if they impeach Trump again, I don't know what that would do. He's been impeached twice. And then even if somehow he resigns, then you get JD Vance, you still have problems. So they need to do something to restart. And I think, unfortunately, like, people don't seem to understand like they have powers that they can enforce and start trying to do something. So I don't know.
What do you think about the fact that Americans and Brits, for our own problems, have watched Nepal, right? The youth, the Gen Z of Nepal, do what they've done, and still
They haven't done
world
anything.
trundles on in the system. What do you think that says about humanity?
Well, I think what it says about the culture of the West, generally, we don't trust each other. We have very individualistic mindsets. So what you see is community in Nepal, which they
Mm,
have a very different like social structure and social connectivity in communities there. And that's what community can do versus in the West. And it's not just Britain and America, but like it's just like perfect examples of how we lack community. So we
mm,
lack the ability to actually have a collective mindset
mm,
and come together to do something. Because even if the left, right, tried to come together, they'd be arguing was like, you're not left enough, or you're too centrist left, and this is that, and blah, blah, blah. And, like, people have been like, okay, let's everybody get behind Gavin Newsom, right? Because he is at least fighting back. And then you get people like, well, do you know, he's not that great. But who else do we have? You know what I mean? Are you going to do something? Are you going to do it? Because who else do we have? We don't have it. They can't fucking even come together. And even if it's not him, they can't come together and say somebody, like something. So we don't have community. And that lack of community is going to kill us. And I don't know if we're like, that's why the cult is working. Because even though it's a cult, they have community. And regardless of the mental illness associated with it, and they can watch that and think that's like sincerity, they still have that connectivity. They have their secrets.
I mean, this is so sad. Like, do you not feel like it's capitalism's fault and all the people who are behind it, the Rockefellers, all the people who funded for the education system to be the way it is, for society to be the way it is? This was their plan, right? So how can the same people orchestrate dumb fucks on the right, okay, to have that sense of community, but we over on the left are not? You know what I think it is? I think we're too intellectual sometimes, and we spend too long in the drawing room instead of, you know.
Yeah, there's no, and also a lot of times people are too afraid of the personal consequences.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it's like
And
we
again, do you not think that's capitalism's fault? Because now
no, it is
capitalism,
capitalism, but it's also lack of community. Because imagine if we took a risk together. What if everybody decided we're gonna not pay taxes? We have no representation. Stop taking the tax money out of my fucking paycheck. Everybody goes and unenrolls. You know what I mean?
yeah, but
They'll
you know
probably
they're going to
take the
come after
money
people.
anyway.
They're going to come after people individually for that.
But what I'm saying is, if you have community, okay, what are they all going to do? What if we all do it? If we all are doing something, yes, you can try and come after us individually in the millions. It's going to be impossible.
No, but they'll try.
And
Just to.
then but we are supporting each other. So if we are building community and we find a way, for example, everybody in a town decide, you know what, we're not going to pay our electricity bill for a month. We're going to let the entire freaking, because our electricity is part of like, because tariff shit has gone out the roof for a lot of people. It's become really hard to afford. So instead, somehow we band together, we make a plan for this month, we're going to hurt this thing. You know what I mean? And we make a plan to support each other. we prepare whatever that looks like we have to do to prepare to do it, and we do it, and we let the fucking lights go out on everybody to hurt them, but we
Okay.
find a way to be together and support each other, but that would never happen. We could never figure that out.
You know why that wouldn't work? Because we have our comforts in the West, okay? I feel like in somewhere like in Nepal, the disparity is even worse than the West, right? So that the majority of people are in the poor bracket, right? So they've got nothing to lose. They have nothing to lose. They
Well,
don't
that's
care
what I'm
about lights
saying.
going off.
But
They don't
they
care about the
do. I mean,
consequences.
they have their lives.
Yeah, but what I'm
They
saying is they can afford to have a threat of lights out or whatever for the sake of attacking their government. But we are caught in that middle ground of capitalism where we need the things that capitalism has afforded us to the point that we can't. There's too much at stake for us to let that all go. Unless it's something like a digital ID card. I know the Brits will show up for that. I know that we're not just going to take that. We've always
But
been.
see, that's the thing. If you can't be uncomfortable, if you cannot be uncomfortable and they know that you cannot be uncomfortable, it doesn't matter. It's just a matter of time.
It's
They'll
true.
wear you down.
I think they'll try. I think like the ID thing is going to fail. They'll try again. I know they're going to keep trying until it gets implemented, but they've tested the grounds just with talking about it, and look at the pushback already. I don't know if you know the pushback, but there's like been millions.
I'm sure. But I'm just saying they'll do it anyway. And if it makes them uncomfortable, like you're saying, then it won't matter because people will put their comfort and their personal,
All right.
if they know that we are too afraid to be uncomfortable, then it's just a matter of time before they wear us down. And they know how to make us uncomfortable. So if you know that you can't do it, like that's what I'm saying. It has to be, and like you're saying, we don't want to do that shit. We don't want to take any sort of like risk. We don't want to take any sort of like personal possibility because we don't have support.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have support. We don't have like a plan for everybody to be okay for any period
Right.
of time.
Right.
And if we can't do that, then they are going to keep us in the chokehold that they have us in
What do you think is the difference with the right? Why can they afford to be solidarity and
because
they're in
they're
the same?
united about something.
Yeah.
They're really united and they really believe in the hate that they have. Do you know what I mean? They really believe that if all of these other things, they blame everybody else for their problems, right? Whereas we're too afraid to lose anything. They're blaming all of the things that they lose on someone else. So they figure if you're gone, I will have what you have,
Mhm.
right? I will have more. I will have what I have, and then I will have what you have that you somehow you think I'm taking from you. That's the whole DEI thing. They
Mhm.
think that people of color or women or disabled people, well, really just people of color, because they don't know what DEI really stands for. It's really they just think black folks, right? They think black and Asian people are taking everything from them. And so they think if you don't have it, then they can get it. They get more, even though they're not qualified for the shit that they think they want anyway. But they think because you're black, you're not qualified.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
So I mean, they're united on this, and they
Yeah, but
have
we
someone to
have a
blame.
unifying hate towards the far right, or certainly their values, right? So what was the problem? Why are we not assembling
Who is we?
the left?
Because we can't agree to assemble on a fucking subject. We can't agree on how to assemble. We can't agree to where to assemble. We can't agree why we're assembling. That's why. Like,
But
there's just,
that doesn't sound right. I know it's true. I happen to know it's true, but it also doesn't sound right because people on the left are smart, logical people, rational people at least, right? They know what is morally unacceptable for them. So those are the values that should be uniting.
but they're too busy trying to convince other people, the other people, that these are the values that they should have too. They are never trying to
Oh, yeah,
convince.
right.
They're
So they,
never like the right does not try and convince the left. The left tries to convince the right. So the right is like, I don't care. I'll just step on you. Right? Whereas the left is like, let's all coexist. You have to understand this, right? Here's the proof. Here are the receipts. Read this book. Can you just understand me? That's what they're doing.
it's true. And that's what I say, that we're too intellectual for our own good sometimes. Like, it's great that we have compassion on the left, okay? But when you couple that with intelligence, now you've got egos in the way. Look at what happened to Jeremy Corbyn's party that just fell apart. Everyone on the left in the UK was riding on him again, hoping that, no, that sounded wrong, riding on his vision, right? Because the first time, okay, he got smeared. He was gaining momentum so much. And then Keir Starmer was one of the Judas Iscariots that actually brought him down, smearing him with an anti-Semitic campaign that effectively ruined his career overnight. He's come back again. He's gathered new people. Like I said to you, I was a bit like side-eyeing it because I didn't see any black people in the forefront. When I know historically he's always worked for black people. So for me, that was a bit of a red flag. Then it was him and these four Asian guys who were clearly funding everything. And then this one Asian lady, Zara Sultana, who was like the only woman in his world, right? Which is another red flag.
Mm-hmm.
She she came on the internet and just released the membership for everyone. And then apparently she did it because she was sick of the boys' club and she was kicked out of the boys' club and not letting her make decisions. So she's just like, "Hey everyone, we know you've been waiting to register. Now you can register." Then he had to come along and cancel it and say, "No, no, no, it's not ready yet. We're still, working things out." And they had a whole kerfuffle and the whole tent collapsed and basically there is no party now.
Just
Um,
from that. That's what I'm saying. Like that is not like where's the how that was like not that if that can bring you down, anything can. Like that. Like honestly,
he's
he
just
didn't
not a
even
good
put
leader.
together the right team. I mean, or whatever it
Yeah,
was.
I think he's just not a good leader. He's got the right ideas, but he's not a good leader, and I think he's one of those old heads. Because don't forget, he's a boomer as well. He doesn't want to let go of the reins. Zara Sultana potentially could have steered it into a modern direction, but he was like, so he ruined that. But yeah, I'm just saying, I agree with you. I'm agreeing with you.
We don't have the direction. We don't have the leader. I think the thing is when you talk about Obama and how he galvanized people together, he gave them something to believe in and there was a motivation and a
Yeah,
heat behind him. And I don't think that we have anybody else who has been like that in and hasn't just continuously tried to play to the other side.
yeah,
Like every time we get somebody, they're trying to be so centrist and moderate
yeah.
and play that middle role to try and appeal to those. We just need a few of those voters to like me a little bit, like as opposed to doing what they don't care. They
Yeah.
just lie. You know what I mean? They stand
So,
up, they
so, so,
lie, and have
in other
you
words,
voting.
the
What do
left
you?
doesn't have that vim that the right has. Because whether one would like it, the right has swag in terms of doing what they want to do. We should be learning from that, taking notes.
But
So,
I mean,
are you
they
saying we
do
should
what they
stop?
want to do, and they've been doing it for a long time.
I know,
And I
but
think, go ahead.
are you? Do you believe that the left, instead of trying to placate everyone and convince everyone, should just press on with what they believe? Just say, "This is what we believe, and this is what we're going after," and just do that rather than stopping to explain to everyone who comes up to them what they're doing and giving them a leaflet
Yeah, because
about the
they look
left.
like little bitches trying to constantly play
I
to
agree. Yeah.
everybody. I mean, everybody's not gonna like you.
Yeah.
And the other side doesn't care if people don't like them. They're doing whatever it is they want to do. And like people on the other side, they haven't been strategizing in the long-term way, where the right has had this strategy for so long and has weakened the left for decades. And I think that the same manipulations that they have played on the public, they have affected how our left or more liberal politicians have also learned how to be. So they've been getting enough for themselves through capitalist means or whatever to not be that motivated as long as they don't go too far. But this build on the right has been something that they have been doing and manipulating media, manipulating, gerrymandering, all of this stuff that has gone on for decades and decades is now accumulation of their power that the other side has been ignoring or letting happen because they also had some benefits to it politically.
That and intimidation. I mean, I feel like the left is that weak younger sibling that just came along and was the parent's favorite. But the right, the older sibling, has always been there, right? And got told off for picking on the younger sibling, the younger left, right? They got told you can't do that anymore. So the younger sibling has had free reign for a few years and has gained a bit of confidence. And now it's time for the big sibling to come and knock him back down again because that rule is expiring. I feel like the right in America has always been what they wanted to roll out. The way with all the racism and everything, right? That's how they wanted America to stay. And when things like the Martin Luther King movement and all these other political figures created amendments and protections and laws, the right didn't like that. It was only a matter of time saying this isn't over, we'll be back kind of thing, birth of a nation vibes, because they that was always the face of America. It's just been waiting to come out again.
It was the face of the West. I think that, the thing that historically Europeans made these laws, right? That's who came and made the laws in the United States originally. When we talk about, you know, who founded, you
Oh,
know,
okay. Not Europeans,
America, it was Europeans, right?
English people,
So, hmm,
not Europeans, English people.
yeah, well, they were Europeans. So, um, what I mean, your answer, you want your
Oh,
credit.
not mine.
You want your colonizer credit.
I'm not. No, wait, relax. I'm not associated with them. I'm just
But
saying.
what I'm saying is these, like, even gerrymandering is something that came from Britain, right? Like that's something, it originated in Britain. And it was, yeah. And basically it was so that they can align rich people together in political,
Oh
like,
yeah, that's how the
okay.
Tories were started. Yeah, that's how.
So,
But not with
this
race. You made it sound like it was about race, but no. America
well,
flipped it.
no, gerrymandering isn't, I mean, gerrymandering is trying to get a collective of votes together in a certain group. And so it just happens that when Britain did it, it was nobody but white people. And so it was just to basically group the poors and the rich, like to have more power in voting districts.
Yeah,
And they took that model and did it in the United States, but based it on like basically the same thing. So that when it actually started with poor people because black people didn't have the right to vote, originally. So once black people then gained the right to vote, they also made it racial. So gerrymandering, like so many of the American structures came from Britain. And so when you talk about that, like, oh, it's just like, no, they get it from you and they made it, they did because, instead of just poor people, they the race part that was added to it. And a lot of the things that the interconnectivity of like how America became what it is because that's what Britain wanted it to be.
I'm not sure that's true.
Yeah, originally, but they broke free and they just kept that model. They kept the same model that they had already learned. They're not creative people.
It's just funny to think that these old English white guys really thought from their little island that they could control their people in the vastness of America. Like they didn't not have understood how large America was because they got
Well, I
complacent,
mean,
with the whole British Empire thing going around the world and just bringing parts of the world to them. They just assumed America would be the same, but
yeah, I think the vastness of the United States and then, like when it stopped benefiting the rich people there, in America, and they saw how much more money they could have with just, slavery and all of those things. Like, why would they be paying taxes to like to Britain? Like, why would they do that once they had enough bodies to fight back? So this conversation is gone.
yeah, we need
It's
to.
like world history. I think we need to,
What?
you don't think it's gone into world history a little bit too far?
Where did we start? We started with the Candace
We
Owens.
started with talking about Charlie Kirk.
Yeah. It's all related, damn it. Can't you see? It's all connected.
Oh, you got your Swiss Army knife. Congratulations.
How much? So nice. I have to now.
Did it come from Switzerland?
It's made by the original Victorinox people. So yeah,
Okay.
just in case you didn't see it the first time.
Very good.
Can you see that writing?
I see. I
Mm,
don't see it, but I see the little
yeah.
Swiss thing on there.
I cut myself on it tonight already.
Now you're blood brothers.
Exactly. You get my delusion like no one else. Blood in, blood out.
Mm-hmm.
Description.
Yeah.
Crips are blue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what? You want to wrap it up or what?
Yeah, maybe we should wrap it up.
So in conclusion, we both agree that Erica is some kind of plant, right?
And that Candace is a scorned lover,
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
but she's also a grifter, so
How long do you think her marriage is gonna last?
as long as they can keep each other's secrets,
Damn. Do you think she's a lesbian?
I don't think about her in that way.
No, I'm just saying, like,
I don't know. I think I don't get any sexual vibe from her at all. I really don't get any like I don't know. Do you
you know,
think
I
she's
think,
a lesbian?
I think when I think about her,
Hmm.
you know, the plant that with the teeth.
Oh, the Venus
Oh, that's what I
flytrap.
think. She gives that vibe.
Mm,
Black Widow, rip the head off,
I guess.
let them bleed to death, and then gobble them up. So yeah, I guess that was interesting. But yeah, I'm gonna do some digging on the Ingersoll Lockwood watches and also try and get my hands on those stories.
That would be very interesting.
Would
I
you
might
want
try
to
and
do?
look for that as well.
Yeah, okay. And we'll compare notes next time, right? Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Ciao.